Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Shadow and Sun. Today, we're going to be painting. Today, I'm painting Schmargonrog. And, yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing today.
Good evening, everybody. We made a little error last time we showed this guy off. We thought he was a red dragon.
Because of text that it
Yes,
said.
but apparently he is a large black dragon with red highlights showing evidence of the volcanic area where he lives. Lava doesn't hurt him. So we're going to attempt to
Do that.
paint his cracks and his body as if he was more or less made out of lava, being part black and part lava
Not
showing through the cracks and crevices here and on his tail and his body and wherever it
Interesting how
looks.
we're doing a fire dragon during the winter.
Yeah,
it's
hopefully
freezing.
hopefully he will warm our spirits because this is a fantastic dragon. He was a lot easier to put together than Durkar. There were a couple of small areas where I had some trouble, but getting him to stand upright and hang out on his little perch there and put the bones on him and all that was a lot easier than Durkar. I think part of our problem with Durkar was that his fire breath was actually acting as a counterbalance to keep him standing and upright and not falling over, and hopefully we can find a way to have him stand up without actually using the fire, because the fire is just asking to break off if you move or drop him, or if he tips over on the table. It's just such a tiny connection point for such a heavy, off-balanced accessory. We're gonna keep working on that. But starting off, I'm gonna show you the paints we're gonna be using. We will be using our famous,
And by famous, you mean
infamous,
separated.
separated neon orange for the lava cracks.
It's old.
Yes, it's very, very old.
The way you get the effect is buy paint
You
and
buy-
you
you buy the
wait
bo- you buy the
like
bottle.
20 years.
And then you leave it on a shelf for 20 years and come back to it. Maybe 10 years if you're lucky. We'll be using the soft tone for the bone areas,
In fact,
just
I'm gonna
straight
use it right
onto,
now.
he's going to start with that. We'll be using ash gray for parts of his wings and anywhere the black and lava meet to give a little ashy effect, but we probably won't get to that quite yet.
Actually, no, I feel like this is going to be the what we're going to be using. We're probably not going to use black at all this video.
Right, the black is going to be harder because we're going to essentially dry brush most of his body with black so that we don't get the black paint into the orange cracks. But starting off, he's going to go with the soft tone ink from Army Painter. Another little tip here: anytime we're using a wash and a Pringles lid, we'll take one lid and put it like this, and put the other lid like this at a slight angle so that the ink will run down into the bottom of the lid, because this stuff can dry real fast on a flat, smooth surface like this, and you end up wasting a bunch of it, and this will force it to keep pooling up at the very bottom of this little ramp we're creating. And he's starting with the cool, is that a skull?
Yes, that is a skull.
That's one of his brethren's skull that he apparently defeated and tore apart, and is now wearing his body parts as armor, which is kind of a neat idea. I don't think anybody else has ever done that in any fantasy novels or stories that I'm aware of. And instead of actually painting it a bone color and then giving it a wash, we just like the effect sometimes of just going straight to the soft tone onto a white to get a bone look. This way it's a little brighter, and with as dark as this guy's going to be for the most part, it's one way to paint bones. I know most people, when they paint skeletons, they'll actually go and do the bone color and then cover it with the wash. but he's going to be so dark, and so much of his detail will just, you know, at any distance you really won't see a lot of his detail, so we're going to try to give him a little brightness. Hopefully the lava effects will also come in nice, but this is a very challenging paint job for the two of us. We're both going to have to take turns on this one, unlike Durkar. He was a pretty straightforward dragon paint job. We're looking forward to the other
Did you
dragons.
do the full skull?
Yeah, anything that looks like it's bone or horn, not horns, but you know, that he's wearing that's not his own body parts. You know, and don't worry if you accidentally get any of this anywhere else, because with the technique we're going to use, it's going to be very friendly for mistakes. We'll be able to cover everything up with black.
True.
And hopefully by the time August rolls around, we'll have gotten to paint a lot of stuff to get some skills under our belt, learn some new techniques, and be ready for the next onslaught of dragons. Which one are you looking forward to painting most?
I don't know.
Xeno?
No, it's going to be kind of simple. Well,
Yeah.
not really simple, but we have painted stuff that's similar to it before.
Yeah. It's the one I'm looking forward to the most.
I mean, it's not going to be simple.
No, it's going to be fun though. I think it'll be a relatively quick time to paint that one. Kind of like painting an undead dragon. You know, it's very monochromatic.
I mean, painting an undead dragon, or really any skeletal thing that isn't wearing a huge amount of non-skeletal things. Painting bone in general is pretty easy. In reality, if you want to, you could just freaking dump it in a wash and you're done.
They do actually, Army Painter does make containers of all their inks that are about this big around, and you could literally dip your entire miniatures in them. They make these big, like almost like paint cans of their tones and washes, and I see that as just being so wasteful when you know, after you take the miniature out with the pliers and trying not to get all that ink all over your table and what have you, that you're just going to have it just drip wash all over your table and your
Well,
work
I mean,
area.
if you dip a dragon into it,
Yeah.
like it's
You
just
got a
a
little
skeleton.
pooling right there. You see that? You might want to get that. Oh, that face looks good already. Both of them. Although you did miss some of the side right here.
There?
No, on the chest piece. You see that?
Mm.
Your Medusa hair is trying to grab onto your paintbrush.
Mm.
Yeah, I really like the way that looks sometimes. Just doing the wash instead of the paint over, washing over the paint. Give you a little more in there. Let's see what you got going on there. Yeah, don't worry if it's easier to not be so super careful with the spaces in between the bones. We'll just go in between that with black.
No, I'm gonna go from the bottom up.
You think we'll be able to finish this in 3 videos?
No, unless we do a lot of work off camera. Which I think that we're actually going to do pretty much all of the black off camera. just to make it easier?
It might, yeah, that might be necessary. This is, like I said earlier, this is one of the more complicated paint jobs we'll be doing. When we did some of the other stuff, like when I painted Cthulhu or the Hydra that I painted, they were a piece of cake compared to what I foresee with this guy.
Yeah, especially with these bones. I'm getting a lot knot on the bones.
Yeah, it's okay. You would anyways because it's a wash, and that's why I wanted to do these steps first, and then we can just use the black as a universal mistake cover-up technique. A lot of times people will do the little details after they've done the base coat, like on armor and stuff like that, and it's so much easier to paint around the details and cover up those mistakes if you do the smaller details first. Like you'll see here, you know, if you tried to paint white over the black dragons to paint the bones and then put the wash over, it would be so much extra work.
Mm-hmm.
This way you can, you know, use your mistakes to your advantage, so to speak. Because for so long, that's how I would paint is you know, do the armor first, then do the little details, and so often you'd end up, you know, making a mistake with that little, you know, sword or amulet or something like that, and then have to go and do it over again, and then make a tiny mistake and have to do it again, and you end up with, you know, increasing thicker paint jobs that would eventually, you know, start to become visible.
I should just redo the entire thing.
Yeah.
I'm getting a lot of bone color around the spine area, but at this point I feel like it doesn't really matter because we're going to cover it with black anyways.
Yeah.
So I might as well do an almost dry brushing motion on it.
No, because then you don't get the effect of the ink pooling into the tiny little cracks. You really have to do one at a time.
Okay.
You see how they look like on the other side, because when you move on to something else, that wash will pool into recesses and find the cracks that you didn't even know existed, and then those cracks show up, and those little details show up. Like right here, if you look here, or like on the face and stuff. You know, you might have just wiped it on, you know, just brushed it on, but now you can see where it gets darker in those cracks because of gravity pulling it in.
Yeah, it definitely does do that, and it's one of the better parts about using like that wash.
Yeah, that's why they, you know, I hate to say it, but you know, they've called it liquid talent or talent in a bottle for so long, because it does things that you literally can't do, you know, with a paintbrush, but gravity and the viscosity of this stuff will do for you. It really just, you know, makes all your paint jobs look 10 times better. Even if you do, you know, a blue wash over something that's already blue, it just does things you even with a 000 paintbrush, you couldn't get those effects.
Okay, I think I'm done with the bones.
Let me take a look. Nice. These ones in here could use maybe a little more. I know they were very hard to get to. Oh, I'm touching stuff I shouldn't touch.
Yeah, but I'm probably going to move on to the gray now.
Okay, let's... Right under here.
Oh, wow.
You see what you missed? Oh my God.
What's the word?
Excuse you?
Excuse me, yeah, that's the word that you said.
That's almost like you did that on purpose.
I didn't actually. Well, I kind of did.
You kind of did?
I felt like it was going to happen. But
No,
that wasn't intentional.
at least you weren't self-firing.
Wait, what? Oh. Anyways, I believe. What did
You missed a couple little areas that gonna help you out.
Yeah. Oh, there's some done in the teeth.
See, we're in no hurry. You know, if this takes
If the video is already 15 minutes long and we're already on the first part, that's not an issue.
No, we're okay with that. You want to go onto the lava, or do you want to?
The gray first.
Okay, take that. Let me rinse this off real good for you. And you know where to do the gray, right? Anywhere that's not cracked. You can lead up to it.
I thought the gray was also going to be the color of the inside of the wings.
That's what I mean. The inside.
But also the color of the stomach area.
Oh, you were.
And the other side of the neck.
Okay. I would actually wait to not go anywhere near the ink until after you've done the wings.
Is it dry?
It doesn't need to be perfectly 100% dry when we're. Oh wow, there's still a lot of ink left on that. Let's get a new one, because otherwise that ink is going to run into. See, look at that. Did you see that? Oh, maybe that was just that spinning. I thought it just ran like mercury.
Did you not? Okay.
Yeah, sometimes those Pringle lids will get a little bit of a warp in them. Okay, let's take this and add just a little bit of water to it, just so it doesn't end up too thick. Army painter is notoriously thick, in my opinion.
I think that's enough.
One more, and now just mix it together. Try not to get too much paint in the
So just mix them in?
Yeah, just mix them in. Just try not to push the brush down too hard so that the paint goes into the ferrule there.
Look good?
Yeah. Wipe some of that off your brush. That's a little thick there. You can always come back and get that, but if you glob it on right away, you'll sometimes have it'll be noticeable.
I just think you should add more water, but at the same time, I don't know. I feel like we could just solve it with ink.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking we might want to put like either one of the gray inks that we're getting over that, unless it's too light of a color. Or we could hit it with a little green ink maybe.
No, not green ink.
Or even, we could try even the dark tone, the black ink. Be careful, you almost got paint right on your hand.
Is there a light tone, or is that what gray is?
No, gray is...
It's called gray tone?
Yeah, I'm actually getting that from Vallejo. That'll be in our next miniature market order.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I ordered 2 different bottles of gray Vallejo ink, a light and a lighter ink, but both gray, because Army Painter doesn't make a gray wash. And I often, especially when you're painting like white or silvers and things like that, it's just you want a gray ink, and it's just trying to make it myself. It just never comes out quite right. And if you remember when we were doing the Dungeons and Lasers white parts, it didn't work out so good.
Yes, it definitely did not.
But we learn from our mistakes. Yeah, maybe even go past a little bit past the cracks, just so it's
Almost in like a dry brushing motion?
Yeah, just so that we can maybe see that and maybe actually
Possibly even go the entire route?
No, because it's going to be really hard to get that orange in there.
Oh, because I kind of did.
Okay, well, we'll try to water the orange down, maybe even use some of the orange ink to get in there, and then dry brush back over it.
No, I don't think an orange ink is what we want. I think we should just add water to it.
Yeah, unfortunately, the more you mix this stuff and the more you water it down, the less of a fiery color we actually get, or the yellow-orange separation effect, and it just turns to a decent neon orange, which isn't bad, and something we're probably going to want to use, which is weird because I don't... of all the lava painting videos we've been watching, I rarely see people actually use anything that's technically a neon orange. It's always some sort of lava orange.
But yeah, I mean, there's definitely going to be a harder and as well as being a longer video.
Yeah, this is, like I said, this is a very challenging paint job. Your traditional red and green, gold, silver, blue, black dragons are, you know, just as easy to paint as the red dragon we painted last month.
Yeah, I'm probably actually just going to do the wings.
Well, you should try a little bit of the orange just to let the
Oh, I
audience,
forgot about the orange.
just to let, you know, people at home, you know, get an idea of what we're trying to accomplish. Since you're almost done with that wing, as soon as you're done with that,
I actually accidentally painted a bit over one of the cracks.
it's okay. Let's maybe start at the tail cracks, since it's so far away from the gray that they'll be able to get a good eye, you know, a good view of what we're talking about with the smaller brush. What do you think?
Yeah.
You all right?
Yeah, fine.
Need a little more paint on that brush. What's up there, buddy?
Wait, what? What did you say?
I said, what's up there, buddy? You almost at the end of that part, so I can get your orange ready.
Yeah, I'm still getting the orange ready. I'm almost done with this.
He's going to be using a, what is this, this is actually a 5-0 paintbrush, or 510, I can't tell, my eyes are playing tricks on me. It's a spotter. I think we actually probably would be better off with a 10-0, but I don't think I have a good one handy. Let me turn that around so you can actually read it properly.
Should I paint the neck?
Let's move on to the orange. What do you think? Here, you take that.
Where's the orange paintbrush? Or not paintbrush, but paint.
Paint. It's right here.
It's
Just use
already
it.
an orange paintbrush.
Okay, and then you're definitely going to want to wear your glasses.
Yes, definitely.
Let's shake that up to get some more into the cap.
Wait a minute.
No.
And by a minute, I mean
You want to try to
5
maybe.
seconds.
You want to use you want to use this one, or you want to try a 000?
I don't think a 000 is necessary.
Okay, all right, check you out. I would be using a 000 because I can't see to save my life.
Cool.
Yeah.
Also, am I going to be painting the spikes as well?
Yeah, but let's just start at the tail and see how much you can work your way from the tail up, just so the audience, you know, gets a. Nothing went into the cap. Maybe I just shake it.
A bit more?
No, just shake it upside down.
That probably would have been.
There we go.
Do I add water?
No.
Okay.
We want it bright, because if you add the water, it will, you know, get runny, which, you know, in some cases like this, it might actually be helpful, but it will dilute the brightness of this orange, and also.
Yeah, that does look good.
And it will. Like I said, dilute the orange. And get rid of any yellowing that will do for us. Yeah, see, look at that. That looks really good. Move your hand out of the way just for a second. I don't know if they can see that. I like that. It'll be so much easier to paint the big spots black than the reverse. How's that going? Is it pretty easy?
It isn't as hard as I expected.
Yeah. Would a smaller brush have made it easier, or?
Oh, definitely. But I feel like a 000 isn't necessary still. Maybe a double
There might be
zero.
some places where it would come in handy. I might even use a 000 or a 10-0.
Most likely in the area.
When we actually go in to paint the black, it might be necessary though. Just so we don't get, I know the natural instinct is to probably dry brush it, but that really might not actually work. Because the cracks, getting any black in those cracks is really gonna just be irritating.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd rather spend, 12 hours painting in between the cracks than try to, rush it and get a bunch of black in those cracks. Because I can't tell you how many times I've thought, oh, my brush it doesn't have too much paint on it. And then sure enough, dry brush and boom, got to start all over again.
How many times has that happened? In recent times?
Maybe 10 times in the last couple of months.
What about last week?
I don't remember the last time it actually happened. But I know it happens a lot less now that we use this dry brushing technique where we scrape the paint off before we wipe
So
it on
maybe
the brush.
you might have actually needed a much smaller brush.
Really?
Yeah. Might have overestimated the size of these cracks.
Yeah, maybe. The glasses, I guarantee, are probably helping out a lot. Okay, why don't you stop before you get to the bones and then go over the underside of the tail? You see how there's a bunch of cracks there? That way the camera can get a kind of a glimpse at what you're doing on the other part of the tail. And then
So you take a paintbrush and you dip it. You dip it in the paint. You see, you do that.
Okay, smart Alec.
And you put the tip of the
I mean what
paintbrush
you've already
on
painted.
you put it on the area where you want to paint. In this case, it's in the cracks. And you move it in the areas where you want it to go.
No, I meant so they could see what you've already done.
Oh. So yeah, that's how you paint.
Lessons from the master.
I'm messing up a lot.
It's okay. That's what the black's for. It's to make this job even easier.
Then couldn't you just paint the entire thing?
You mean paint it black and then try to put the orange in the cracks?
No, just paint everywhere that has cracks orange, and not even worry about.
Yeah, to an extent, yeah. And in
I
some
feel
cases,
like I'm actually doing that in areas where just don't feel like reaching.
yeah.
Like on the side here.
And in a way, also when we do put the black, if we let some of that orange slip out of the cracks, it might come off as sort of a glow effect. You know what I mean?
But yeah, I'm just getting lazy.
Well, you've been at this for a while, and it's almost time to pack it in for the night. But let's just try to give them something nice to look at least in the tail section. so that they get, you know, a good, strong idea of what we're trying to shoot for. And
Yeah.
don't worry. Well, in some cases I can see where it's not thick enough, the paint. Don't worry about, you know, having to
Yeah, do
continue.
you think that's good enough for now?
Let me take a look. Let the folks at home, because the tip of the tail looks really good, but there's some places up higher up where you were rushing, where it looks more yellow than orange.
Yeah, but I mean the actual tip of the tail looks pretty good.
Yeah.
Should I do some of the claws?
No, I think we can pack it in for now and come back and do some of that stuff next week. We will
Or
do.
just some other day off camera?
Yeah, well, I'll probably try my hand at doing a little of the orange tonight after you go to bed.
Yeah,
Just to see, you know, what you had to go through.
a lot of I bet I'm pretty sure the next time we continue painting this, there's gonna be a lot of differences.
Yeah, we're gonna try and do a little bit more off camera, but we want to, you know, show you the steps so you can you can extrapolate. You do the orange all the way up his tail. You do the bones everywhere. You need to do the bone color of your choosing. You know, and when we come back, we will do completely different things than we've already showed you. Just like, you know, when we did the bridge, we only did half the bridge because they can figure out the other half. It's the same thing, you know. We just want to show everybody what we're doing, what we're gonna do, and for those of you lucky guys out there who have a Schmargonrog at home, you know, we'd love to see your paint jobs if you've already, you know, jumped ahead, you know, painted past where we were at, or you took a different, you know, technique at it, or just to see what you've done. We'd love to see other people's versions of this. So, you know, I'll put the email again in the description of the video. If you've got photos of it or you want to take some photos for us, we would absolutely love to see it, because I left some comments on the Dungeons and Lasers comments section open to get some advice before we started painting, but I haven't had a chance to check and see if any of you guys answered back. I'm not sure how many people actually got one of these, but I'd really like to, you know, be really curious to see how many other people were lucky enough to grab one of these guys and see what you guys have done. So from Shadow and Sun, hope you guys enjoyed the video. We will be back Tuesday with not a craft video, but kind of a continuation of our last craft video, but with some new information. And then Thursday we'll have a full-fledged craft video starring this guy. And have a great week, guys. You falling asleep there? Say goodnight, everybody. Good night, everybody. Have a great week, and Merry Christmas.
Yes.